Very good. This meeting will come to order. Welcome to the Nevada Irrigation District December 10th meeting. It was our last meeting of the year. Welcome, everyone, and please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Secretary, please call the roll. Here.
My mic on. Division 2.
Here.
Division 3.
Here.
Division 4.
Here.
Division 5.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Looks like we have a quorum. At this time, we'll take public comment for any item that is not on the agenda. We can take that from the room or from our virtual world here. Raise your hand if you're in the virtual world or here in the room. Nope, seeing none, we'll close that public comment for items not on the agenda. We will go into special orders. Before we do, though, I just wanted to take a moment for my fellow board members and recognize a fellow who, John Pratt, who had spent his 30-year career here at NID and sadly, was killed in an accident here in Grass Valley. We just want to send our heartfelt thanks and condolences to his family. He was a utility worker in our maintenance department and he retired in 2001 after 30 years. So thank you, Mr. Pratt, and thank you and condolences to the Pratt family. Okay.
Amen.
With that, we will take up the high school farm presentation.
All right.
All right. Hi, my name is Luke Browning. I represent the Nevada Joint Union High School District. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our farm project and hopefully a partnership that we can continue to form with the Nevada Irrigation District. So if you don't mind going to the next slide, we're going to start just with a brief video that we put together in January of last year. That video was one to solicit some key partners in the communities, and it gives a brief overview of the project that we're trying to accomplish. After the video, I'll dive right into the rest of the presentation. All right, so we were donated this ranch by Jim Phelan.
It's starting again.
Oh,
Give me a second. There we go. It was a really cool song.
it is a cool song. We could do it again if you want. This ranch was donated to the high school district. Jim was a longtime employee of Nevada Irrigation District. It was donated to us, and we've had it for the last few years. And ultimately, a year ago, we said, what if we take this ranch and we turn it into a community model that will support youth and agriculture, but also support agriculture in Nevada County. And so that's the mission we've been on for the last year, is to try to make that come to fruition. And from that meeting we had in January, we've been able to establish some key partnerships, which I'll share with you later on in the presentation. And then at the end of the presentation, I'll talk to you about what our vision and hope is for the Nevada Irrigation District in terms terms of the partnership that we see as a potential there. It is on the Clear Creek Canal. It's off Chucker Drive, just past the Clear Creek School, and it's 86 acres. We have 2 boxes, and it's irrigated pasture, so it's right just past that Clear Creek School. Where do I point this to click it?
Is it not working for you? There we go. How about now?
Okay. Oh,
Point it to the big.
I think we got it. Okay, thank you. So when it was originally donated, we spent lots of time trying to figure out what would be the best purpose for this ranch. And we knew it was originally intended to support agriculture education, recreation, and youth in Nevada County. And as a high school district, we're in a prime spot to handle the youth component. But we also knew if we were going to do a service to the rest of the community, that we would have to involve the community. And so that's where that stakeholder meeting and some of the key partnerships have come from. We envision this project as multiple organizations taking ownership of this ranch as an opportunity to be a showcase for Nevada County agriculture and all the components that go into representing Nevada County agriculture. For us as a high school district and as a community, there's an interest in it being a pipeline to employment. We have students that are employed at the ranch that actually operate and run the ranch right now. And those students are learning those skills that if you go into any industry, I'm sure NID is no different. We want people that show up on time every day. We want people that know how to work hard. We want them to be resilient. And so they're out there learning those skills. And for us, that allows us to have students in our community go right into employment after high school. We also envision this as an opportunity to be to showcase water stewardship and innovation, and that's where NID comes into play. And we see this as the potential to be a living laboratory for our community to come out and experience what that looks like. There's some key planned facilities, and some things on this list since January have been completed. Others are still in the works. But on the ranch, we've done a lot of the groundwork in the last 4 or 5 months. We cut a pad for the pavilion, which essentially will be an event center where that'll have a commercial kitchen that we can host events and meetings and venues out there. The pad was cut for that this year. And then we moved classrooms out to the ranch this year. We were able to get 2 portable classrooms put into place. And as a matter of fact, tomorrow, students will be in them for the first time, which is pretty cool. And so we've got students coming from all over Northern California to compete in a natural resource contest at the ranch. And so we're able to host it there. Next year, we'll host classes out there for high school students from across the district that will take place every day. So students will bus out to the ranch and be able to engage in hands-on learning out there. The classrooms are in, those are done. We're working on preserving, if you've been out there, we're trying to preserve the history that's there, the original structures, the original barns, but we also have plans to expand that to bring in some more modern facilities to showcase as well. Our long-term goal is to include a storefront to where we can showcase and teach the community and students about farm, all the way from farm to fork and to the storefront, and then employ students all along the way so that they have the skills ready to go into industry after high school. There's a recreation component that Jim wanted, and he was very clear about that when he left that ranch to us. And so we've been working on that in terms of an agritourism component and trying to have a spot for community to come out and take advantage of that. One of the most exciting pieces that we've been working on is a USDA inspected harvest facility. And if you're familiar with the livestock industry in this county, that's something that we've all been trying to go after for a very, very long time. We've partnered with the county on it. We have completed a feasibility study. We've got the plans drawn up, and we're in the funding phase right now of trying to raise the funds to implement it. But ultimately, what we see this harvest facility is an opportunity for the community to have a market, but also an opportunity for our students to learn. And what was funny is I got a phone call a couple of weeks ago from the Small Business Association, and they said, "Hey, we've been we met with the Secretary of Ag, and they're struggling to find a way to get more people into this industry. And we pitched them your idea, and they liked it. And so the whole concept is to provide this opportunity for students while also mutually benefiting the community, in an effort that we've been working on my entire life, and probably for those of you in this room longer. And so we're excited about that, and it's really taken some shape, and we see it as really a viable option at the ranch. Right now, when I came on board, I said, look, we've got a ranch, we've got property, we've got barns. What can we do to get kids out here working? And so we started right off the bat with 3 different units. The Resource Conservation District donated a sawmill to the ag departments. And so we were able to move that sawmill out to the ranch. We then have been receiving lots and lots of logs donated to the ranch, and then all of those logs are getting milled, and the lumber goes back into the program. So construction trades, ag mechanics, all of those high school trade programs. You might be wondering who's doing the milling. That's students. So we've hired student interns to work out there that do all of the milling, and then they have advisors like Mr. Drew that are out there supporting them and making sure they're doing it safely. We have a swine unit. We took one of the barns, poured a pad in it, poured pins out back for the sows, and we farrowed 3 pigs last year, or over the summer was our first litters, and then we'll farrow 5 pigs for the Nevada County Fair this year. We've been able to increase our genetics and start to showcase some things and give students some experiences. We have a beef unit, and we've had an individual that's leased that property from us for quite a while and taken care of it. And he was gracious enough to sell us some cattle. So we started our own district herd, and we have our first cattle with a district brand will be born this year. And so we're excited about that as well. And that's all of these units are student run. Additionally, we're in the process of starting a goat and sheep unit out there as well. So those are all current things that are happening. Here's a little picture of the harvest facility, and we're working through a company called Friesla. They design lots of modular harvest facilities that are used around the country. We went through a 6-month we received a grant and then went through a 6-month process with Friesla designing the harvest facility to meet the demands of our community. And so the design phase is done, and it's super exciting in terms of the potential support that we'll be able to provide the community as well as students. And so that's a project we're still working on. One of the partners that came from that video and meeting in January was the County of Nevada, which I shouldn't be surprised, but I was a little bit surprised. They were super excited to get behind something that was generating student interest in work, student interest in learning skills, the pipeline to employment. We have a joint position where the high school district pays half the salary of an employee that works for the county, and they also work for the high school district, and they're our work-based learning coordinator. So they help put students into internships in the community. In August of last year, we had 60 interns. We're now at 250 students interning in the community. But they got behind the ranch as an idea of economic development. They really specifically gravitated towards the harvest facility project because they see the potential impact that will have on the community. And they're also hosting our internships and providing support in grant writing and publicity with their public information officer. Sierra Harvest was another partner that came out of that meeting. Sierra Harvest in the community has supported agriculture for a very long time, and they see this as an opportunity to also educate the public, to also provide a service, and potentially there's lots of avenues we're considering going, but ultimately to support the project of preserving agriculture in Nevada County while also showcasing what it could look like in the future. RCD, we talked about the donation for the sawmill, but some other things you should know is they've worked on our water infrastructure. If you've been out there recently, the ponds have been restored. They're doing some wildlife habitat restoration. They actually have hired one of our students as an intern to help with that. And then they're helping with grant writing and securing funds as well. There's some additional relationships that have come out of it. We've actually started busing the elementary school students out to the ranch to take part in intersession programs. One of the neatest things, and I don't know how familiar you are with Grizzly Hill and the Ridge, but we were able to bus students from Grizzly Hill over fall break and host them at the ranch. And we had everywhere from kindergartners to 8th graders. And for me, it was really cool and empowering because these are students that don't have a lot. And so they were able to come get exposed to the agriculture industry and rotate through the different units and get some experience. Okay, now you're wondering, where does NID come in? It's no surprise to the people sitting in this room that water is our most important resource in this county, in the state, and specifically with the agriculture industry. So we view this potential for NID to use the ranch as a living laboratory for water efficiency, for demonstrating practical solutions to issues that we're facing in the community. And the goal is that this would benefit producers and the broader community while also supporting our educational initiative at the high school district. In terms of supporting your strategic priorities when it comes to water supply and reliability and infrastructure, we look at the ability for the ranch to host irrigation demonstrations that potentially, in terms of efficiency, could ultimately reduce or maximize the efficiency of water usage in the district. We look at modeling practical, scalable improvements for small acreage growers. We do a good job with Farm Bureau and with some of our local organizations to travel and look at different sites, but we see this as a demonstration site that we could showcase to the community different practices. We want to also be able to model low-risk test environment for raw water measurement tools, flow management, and be able to demonstrate storage strategies. Another unique partnership that I didn't foresee coming out of this was the Realtor Association, which I found intriguing because what they said is we have people that come to Nevada County, they want to buy 10 acres, and they don't know how to manage it. And so what if we could bring those people out to the ranch to view it, to see what that looks like? In terms of watershed stewardship and resiliency, you don't have to be around agriculture very long to know that they're not great for ditch health, and they're not great for erosion when it comes to the watershed. And so for us to be able to demonstrate, to have zones that demonstrate ditch health, that demonstrate erosion control, and how to properly have livestock interface with the irrigation district. We also think we can pilot areas showing how improved land management increases infiltration and reduces sediment. And then with our vineyard that we're working on and the orchard and pasture and all the units we have, our hope is to showcase best practices in each one of those units so that if you were in the community and wanted to see what does it look like to do this correctly, you'd be able to come out and see that. In terms of technology and innovation investments, it's a balance for us, right? I want to be able to teach students what the upper edge of technology is. Anything from putting sensors into the cambium layer of fruit trees to measure the water pressure, to then do irrigation scheduling. That's important for students to understand that technology exists, but for a community, we also need to understand drip irrigation. We also need to understand some things that are practical, that are more obtainable. And so we want to be able to showcase both of those. The idea is that it's a public-facing demonstration site. I also think it can be a community education hub, branded with NID workshops, field days, and et cetera, just to help educate our water consumers. So here's what we propose. We propose to establish the ranch as NID's agriculture, it'd be raw water efficiency demonstration site. We want to showcase low to medium to high-tech irrigation methods, all of the above. That way the consumers can see where they fit, but they know where they could be as well. We want to talk about ditch management practices, on-farm storage, and flow efficiency models. We also want to host co-branded workshops. We think that easily we could do 2 major events, a spring and a fall event throughout the year that we co-host to showcase these things and potentially have the opportunity for that to expand. As a high school district, we're willing to put the work in to develop those targeted demonstration zones because it's mutually beneficial for us. And then we want to be able to pilot technologies and best practices that are in line with what you see and what your needs are as a district. We've already been working with NID to collaborate on grants. We've been working, they've provided letters of support to help us. And so that will continue and we'll continue to work on. Our goal is to move to this community education hub of water stewardship though. And that concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to entertain questions.
Thank you, Luke.
Yeah.
Questions, comments from the board?
Yeah. Yeah, nice. If you can pull this off,
We will.
yeah, it's incredible. You really got me where you said skilled people, because Dan Macon was always, there are no unskilled jobs in agriculture. There's none. Today, it is very specialized and skilled. I didn't see row crops, veggies.
Yeah.
I saw vineyards, orchards, pasture, forestry. Eli, yeah, you picked up on that. But it's, for me, I mean, this is what we do kind of, and looking forward to do, but it's row crops is your quickest return for cash flow and marketability and everything. Full disclosure, I no longer own a USDA inspected harvest facility, so I have no conflict of interest. But what do you see as far as headwinds putting that in? Because you're getting the designs, you're getting down the road.
So,
A lot of people have been there,
yep.
and then to get it actually on the ground, it's been difficult because of community, resistance.
Yeah. There's a couple things that I think put us in a different category. One is the relationship with the county. When I initially went on this venture, knowing that it's been this unicorn we've been chasing in the ag industry here, my first meeting was with environmental health. And I said, look, this is what we want to do. Tell us what the steps are to get there that will get your support. Allison Lehman's been extremely supportive of the project. We talked about grant writing up there, and she's dedicated Kimberly Parker, who works in economic development, to help support the project in terms of providing funding, because funding's a barrier. That harvest facility is $6 million, right? And so as a high school district, we don't have $6 million. So that's certainly a barrier. But we have county support. The other piece that makes us unique and that's different than other entities that have tried is we're an educational facility. We're actually governed by in terms of our construction and work that we do out there is through the state and the department, DSA, the state architect. Because we're an educational facility, we are looked at differently than a for-profit industry. And because of the partnerships we have, I foresee us having the momentum and the support to accomplish it. I'm sure there'll be folks that have raised red flags, but in terms of the big barriers that have been there in the past, environmental health is not one. The county looks at it as an opportunity to provide added money back into the community. And then from an educational standpoint, it's hard to combat the idea of that we're educating students with real hands-on experience. And so that's different than any of the folks that have tried to accomplish it in the past. Now, here's the deal. We haven't done it yet. So I get it. And I'm, we can be skeptical. But also we're going to continue to move forward, because a year ago we didn't have the study done. And a year ago we didn't have the support that we have. And so we're going to continue to work to put it in place. So that's the best way I can answer that question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very impressive. Very impressive. I'm more familiar with the Lincoln High School farm.
Yeah.
And they're doing great things too. I love the fact that Nevada County farm is going, or not high school farm, is going to be different, more towards timber and a few things like that. So that's kind of cool, because the other one's more on the flatlands, this is in the hills. Lincoln High School farm had a hard time with the harvest facility, and it basically boiled down to BOD and a few of the waste products disposal. I don't know if you could talk to them.
Yep.
Josh Hutzinger with the Ag Commission, look at that, but they kind of had a real hard time at that point. I think the only other facility is Reno, isn't it? Or Nevada?
Well, there's actually one that's getting put in right now in Colusa County. We're going to go tour that next week. I'm going with Gil Matthews from ERC, the Economic Resource Council. We're going to go down and take a look at that, and Kimberly Parker from the county. So there is one that has been put in there. The other thing that is maybe back to Rich's question a little bit too is this modular design that we've gone after is all enclosed. So the actual, because you're right, the wastewater or the byproduct is one of the biggest environmental hazards to mitigate, but they're all self-contained. And so these never leave the actual unit. They're pumped out and then transported, which makes it a different impact on the project. And so that's our hope in terms of being able to mitigate that. And I don't know what Lincoln's original design was, but I know that is one of the biggest hiccups.
And a follow up on that, the agritourism. I looked at I'm unfamiliar with your guys' facility, so I apologize there. But it looks like you're putting in quite a bit of grapes, and it looks like a few other things.
Oh.
Are you
Well,
doing
so
the
those pictures that were on the video, that was the original master plan, right? In terms of like, let's get something on paper. And then it has morphed over the last few years. Right now, we're partnering with the Wine Grape Growers Association to put in 1/3 of an acre of grapes as a demonstration vineyard for our students. In terms of other permanent crops, we just completed a feasibility study with an outside consulting company that does that. They specialize in small scale agriculture. And so that's subject to change, I guess is what I'm saying, some of those pictures and the amount of each crop.
The watering profile of grapes would be a great demonstration of
Yes.
water conservation and stuff of that nature. But what other agritourism are you guys proposing?
Oh, great. So and this is for us for this project, in every aspect, we've tried to do it in a way that we're not competing against local producers. For example, the sawmill, there's other local people that mill their own lumber and sell it. And our advisory was very clear that, look, we're not competing. We want to add value to the market. We want to provide an opportunity for students, but not at the expense of people that are involved in it. Same thing with our swine unit and the beef unit. When it comes to agritourism, that's the same mentality that we want to take. And so for us, I mean, you have your basic concept of agritourism, right? There's different seasons throughout the year that we can get community members on site. Before we initiate that plan, we've got to finalize a few meetings with some of our stakeholders that are already engaged with that to make sure we're complementing what they're doing and not taking away from it. But initially, it's been, the ideas that have been roundtabled are everything from the Christmas tree farms to the having harvest festivals to bringing people out to have, once we have the event center in, we have a culinary arts program in our high school district that caters a lot of events in the community. And the goal would be able to host events, host weddings, have those kinds of venues. But we want to do it very intentionally. I mean, there's lots of ideas for agritourism, but for us, it's important that it doesn't take away from a market that already exists.
Rich's comment about the row crops. I mean, if you
Yeah.
set up a farm stand.
Yep. Yeah.
I know there's another place in Wheatland that brings the kids in and they shaft the wheat, then they grind the wheat to flour, and then they make dough out of it, and then they get a bread. So they get to see the whole life cycle of a wheat product. I don't know what Nevada could do or Nevada County could do, but something like that would probably be pretty cool too.
Yeah, and we've been with Sierra Harvest, and I appreciate Eli being here. We've been talking about the idea of growing row crops to then sell back to the high school district, and all the school districts move to a joint venture together for food distribution to the local schools. And so the idea for us would be that students would be able to grow the food that then gets put back into the system that generates revenue that helps fund the project. The other point that I'll make for us and for me that has been very important is that we're using grant money to build and for major parts of the project, but the whole goal is that each of our units are sustained by the revenue that's generated. And that's where that if those of you involved in agriculture know that if you have 86 acres with a whole bunch of random things happening on it, for us, that's where that agritourism, that event center, those kinds of revenue generating opportunities helps us support what's happening out there.
Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Browning, thank you for being here this morning. I'm very excited from the time the from the time I was first made aware of the donation of the property, it felt like it was stagnant for a little while, and then in the last year, I've been able to be out there a handful of times and see the progress and the momentum that you guys have going out there and all the things that are happening. I'm just really excited to put together something with this agency that can be that model of raw water efficiency, or to host workshops with you, or I want to do something with you. I see all the cool stuff that's going on out there, and I'm very excited for this agency to be a part of it.
Great.
To any extent that we can.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And I concur with everything Brad just said. Great presentation, Luke. I really appreciate it. I'm really encouraged about the focus on vocational agriculture or vocational training that we are lacking in everywhere in our county and our state. And having been a benefactor of that and attended Cal Poly, I see this is kind of a miniature Cal Poly, and I'm really excited about that concept. So look forward to our having some input or some partnership to do the water part. Do you know how much of is the Clear Creek Canal on the ranch property itself?
Yes.
It is, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
We may be looking to ask for more water here in the near future too. Just as a side note.
If this dry spell keeps on going, you better get in line now.
Oh, it's
You should see the storage they've put together, Rich. The micro ponds that they've enhanced out there is right up your alley.
No,
I saw him in the video.
I talked to the guy, yeah. They did a really good job.
Thank you, Luke. Is there any comments from the audience or anyone outside in the virtual world that'd like to comment? This is a wonderful program. Shown us. Thanks.
Well, I appreciate you having me today. Thank you.
So what is your phone number again, Luke?
I'll give it to you.
We have it. If someone wants to contact us.
It's
What was on the slide?
yeah, I can tell you. It's 530
Yeah.
913
It's 913. Okay. 0808.
0808. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, anytime.
And anybody out there wanting to send money, call Luke.
Please, we will now move to our consent agenda. Is there?
I move to accept the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any comment from the public on our consent agenda? Seeing none, we'll go forward and entertain our vote.
All right. Division 5,
Yes.
Division 4,
Yes.
Division 3,
Aye.
Division 2,
Aye.
Division 1.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move to general orders. Item 5A, budget to actual reports for the period ending September 30th, 2025. This is a receipt and file.
Correct. So this is our third quarter quarterly reporting. So that is why some of the percentages probably look a little bit different. And our fourth quarter will end December 31st. But as the board is aware, the fourth quarter budget to actuals come a little bit after because we make all of the 13th period accruals after the first of the year. So based off of the report, we are doing fairly well. Everything is pretty much on track with the exception of some of the capital expenditures. We are still having some difficulties with capital expenditures, somewhat related to lead time for materials, but also we've been having a little bit of challenges with delivering the hydro capital department or capital budget. But that is primarily due to planning of the projects as well as lead time on the materials.
I mean, the lead time is just getting stretched out more.
Everything is getting stretched out more and more.
Yeah.
Yep. Outside of that, outflows, now recall outflows include transfers as well between funds. So they're about 82 or 72% of budget. That's a little bit higher than if you just kind of split the pie by 4 quarters, primarily related to the transfer of the interfund transfers all at one time. So that kind of skews that number. Let's see. The capacity fee fund does have an increase in revenues coming in, and that's related to new connections, which is primarily related to the completion of those last few district-funded water line extension programs. So those are, go back into the capacity fee fund.
There's a positive there.
Really the only real anomalies. Oh, Internal Services Fund, Fund 70. Revenues appear to be low right now, but that's because grant revenues are received on a reimbursement basis, so they're received after the fact. But other than that, we are looking normal for Q3.
Since we're seeing that lead time get stretched, and along with it, then inflation hits us, can we borrow the money at a lower interest rate than inflation to get some of these onerous projects, like a more fixed cost that we can see, we can account for, instead of, oh yeah, you won't get it for 4 years and the cost could go astronomical on us? Is there any way we could do that?
Well, I think that from the perspective of when to borrow money or not, we have some huge capital projects coming up.
Yeah.
So we're essentially saving our borrowing capacity for those capital projects. And that's when those decisions come into play. You know, the question always is do we receive more investment revenue than the cost of debt? And then we make the decision of what's more beneficial for the ratepayers.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot coming up.
We will likely be issuing debt over the next 5 to 10 years.
When we buy something right now that has a 4-year lead time on it, we have to put an X% down payment on it. Are we locking in that cost of that item at that point?
It depends on the type, on the contract. So some lock-in prices, and what you're seeing is manufacturers and distributors are reducing the amount of time that they'll lock in a price for right now. So, you know, whereas before it would be a year or 2 years, now we're starting to see 60 to 90 days.
Even though there's a 2-year lead time on it.
Yeah.
And that's written in the contract at the time.
Yeah, it's all separate conditions, purchase conditions when we put in an order for something.
Mm-hmm. Now I know what it feels like to be over a barrel.
Other comment, questions?
No.
No.
Hard to follow that.
I just have one quick question. It's on the budget to actual by capital project. It says budget to actual by capital project with an off-book summary of capital expenditures. Could you give me just a little bit more detail what that means, an off-book summary?
So it's related to our current financial software system versus the new system that we're going to in a couple of weeks. But essentially the tracking of capital projects is done with what we consider to be off book. It's a separate tracking, so it's not directly tied to the fund accounting portion of the software in our current system. That's one of the reasons why we're moving to the new system. So that's that whole, you know, when you used to get that 55-page facility project tracking spreadsheet, it never, to me, it's not a valuable reporting effort because it doesn't actually tie back to your real financials.
Can I request that everyone make sure their mic is on? I have a note that it's quiet.
Thank you. Oops. I think I might have been the offender. Thank you for the reminder. Right, nothing else from the board? This is receive and file?
Yeah, just receive and file.
Okay, is there any public comment or questions from the public? Okay, seeing none, we're ready to receive. We don't need a motion, right? Or do we? Oh, we do. Okay.
So moved.
Thank you. We
Seconded.
have a motion and a second. Call the vote, please. Boy, tongue-tied this morning.
Division 5,
Yes.
Division 4,
Yes.
Division 3,
Aye.
Division 2,
Aye.
Division 1.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Continuing along with our agenda, we will go to the Deer Creek Powerhouse Communications Upgrade Project.
Yeah, this should be a fairly simple one. It's essentially an early rollover. As the board's aware, we roll over capital projects that were originally slated for
Right.
2025, and now this one is going to be moved into 2026. So we're rolling the budget forward.
Okay.
Peter, you have anything to add?
No, this was previously approved. The
Yes.
scope is unchanged. So we're just asking for the funding to move.
So moved to accept
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
PC.
Any public comment on the Deer Creek Powerhouse communications upgrade? Seeing none, we'll close public comment and please call the roll.
Division 5,
Yes.
Division 4,
Yes.
Division 3,
Aye.
Division 2,
Aye.
Division 1.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Peter. Okay, next item 5C.
Good seeing you, Peter.
I know. Have a good holiday, Peter.
That was a tough one.
Or are you on this next item? Okay. The
Okay.
FERC Yuba-Bear project relicensing CEQA environmental impact report support services,
We might have
sole
something-
source.
Might have something to talk about.
We might have something to talk about here.
So I'll start this off and then Peter, please jump in. So as the board is aware, we have been under FERC relicensing now for about 15 years,
Mhm.
16 years. And there was a federal environmental document that was completed by FERC that is now apparently being revised. So they'll be putting out a supplemental EIS. As the board is aware, our litigation related to the issuance of the 401 certification waiver that litigation has gone away. So we have restarted a CEQA process. So we started the new CEQA process, which supports essentially the 401 certification process. Issued an NOP, went through and did an initial study, mitigated negative declaration. The comments that we received on the draft document indicated that we are highly likely to face legal challenges for a variety of reasons. And so in order to reduce future legal risk moving forward into the future, it has been determined that the best course of action is to go to a full EIR document, which is environmental impact report. So what you're seeing is this is a request for approval of a new contract with HDR, which is the consulting firm that assists us not only with the FERC licensing project, but also they prepared the initial study and mitigated negative declaration in the first place. And they have been essentially both environmental and FERC relicensing support throughout this whole effort. So this is a new contract for them to completely prepare a new environmental impact report. One of the questions I received from Director Stevens, which is a really good question, is, the scope of work does seem a little bit undefined, and that's primarily related to the part of the process for an environmental impact report is that you have to submit a notice of preparation, which is a public notice of beginning preparation of the document. And once you go through that process, you receive additional comments back. So when we receive additional comments back, then we further refine the alternatives analysis. We have identified right now that we'll likely have 4 alternatives, but the scope of those alternatives could change somewhat. So remember, the Yuba-Bear project includes the entire hydropower system for the most part. Did I forget anything else, Major? Peter?
I think you did a great job summarizing it.
So we are here to ask for consideration of approval of this contract to be able to prepare and issue the full environmental impact report. Dustin, did I miss anything?
Okay.
So if we go to litigation, we're going to potentially lose and have to do it anyway.
And pay the legal fees.
And
Exactly.
What
Was
the
it,
legal fees of the litigant?
sure.
Good.
And was it HDR's recommendation to do a mitigated negative deck, or was that from our direction?
It was all of the above. It's a pretty standard, and it's interesting that there's 3 other agencies going through relicensing now, and everybody initially started with
Same thing. Yeah, okay.
Keep in mind, this is a unique situation where you have both federal and state actions.
Yeah.
So you have a very comprehensive federal NEPA environmental impact statement that you just basically bolt onto with the CEQA negative declaration, right? You say, because the 2 documents really analyze the same issues for the most part.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's seen as duplicative and in some cases unnecessary to do an EIR. And you already have a federal EIS. But in this, so that's why the approach was taken, because it's a unique situation where you already have that base document at the federal level. But yeah, given the extent of the comments received and the risk of litigation, we thought that this was the best.
And so this is just going to do the state EIR, not the NEPA?
Correct.
NEPA was already completed, but it's likely, we're hearing indications that they will do a supplemental EIS, which means they'll reissue the document. The federal government will.
Yeah.
What is the likelihood of additional mitigations coming out of this EIR for us?
Good question.
Is there likelihood? I mean, it seems like every time we do something like this.
To a significant.
Well, would there be stuff that the potential litigants would sue us for? Could they be added onto this?
No, they have this provides more legal protections, I would say.
Mhm.
We need to go through the process. I mean, your question is a bit cart and horse.
Is what?
It's cart and horse. It's
cart
not
and
a
horse?
sequence. We need to go through the environmental analysis, which will flesh out, with commenting parties. They're going to comment on potential environmental effects. And we'll assess those, incorporate mitigation to the extent it's feasible to do so. So we're not to that level yet. So you can't definitively say whether there would be new mitigation or not. We just don't know.
Well, there could be.
Could be.
Could be.
Right, but remember,
Just-
so the CEQA document, we're the lead agency, we prepare the document, we identify the environmental impacts, and then we identify the extent to which they'll be mitigated to reduce those impacts. A lot of the hefty mitigation that's been tacked onto this process is through other regulatory avenues, whether that's regulatory permitting or through the 4E conditioning provisions that are associated with the
Mhm.
license in the U.S. Forest Service. So going from a ISM&D to an EIR doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have increased mitigation. The avenues for increased mitigation are already present.
Mm.
So-
The avenues for increased mitigation are already present through the other regulatory processes.
Right. And in some cases, it's not even mitigation, right? It's just regulatory requirement.
Yes.
So one of my hot points is, under the FERC relicensing, we're required to put in all these campgrounds and roads for the Forest Service. Will the EIR assess them for the environmental damage they're going to do?
Yeah, they're part of the project. Then the 4E conditions are evaluated as part of the environmental analysis.
Well, I'm just saying, putting roads through where they shouldn't be, or campgrounds up there that are hot water for whatever, and it's just going to cause some environmental damage. Shouldn't we know how much that is so we can mitigate that and actually eliminate the project to having to?
Part of this analysis.
Okay, it is. Good.
I mean, to the extent that's a project, so say, for example, we were required to build a new road, but that's not required to year 40 of our permit. There, in year 40, we may do additional environmental analysis for a specific construction project. But that whole suite of items is included in
In this analysis.
Well, that's
So abandonment of some of those.
It is really good.
I think actually helps us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you still may do additional environmental analysis. It just
Sure.
depends on
sure.
what's happening.
Okay.
You get my
So,
point.
actually, go ahead.
No,
Oh,
I'm just looking for
finishing?
other comment.
Yeah.
You know,
My comment
are
was
you
just,
done, Rich?
Yep.
Okay.
I just had a general comment that there's a sentence that says, the cost of services appears to be reasonable, and it's just, it depends on your perspective. That none of that appears reasonable to me, but I understand.
So the FERC relicensing project, don't exactly quote me on this, but I believe it's about probably 7.2 million at this point that we've spent to date.
It's been to date.
So how do we bring that? We have water rates coming up. How do we let the community know how much the government's cost us?
Could have a big government sign.
I I mean, it,
Thermometer or a ticker, yeah.
A ticker.
why don't we? Because these guys just tack on, they pile on.
It is, it doesn't start to feel like a death.
On an NFL game, this would be a, 15-yard penalty. And this, it's much worse.
Yes.
Basically, this is for CEQA. NEPA has already been cleared.
But it's likely what we're hearing, and it's a black hole, so take this for what it's worth. We're hearing they're gonna put out a supplemental EIS.
What are the chances? Well, we've had comments already, and
Yeah.
based on those comments, we have a concern that there is exposure is the reason why the EIR for CEQA was being done. Is anything in that realm showing a weakness so that NEPA might have to be revisited in its entirety?
Yeah.
And if so, would this proposal take care of that?
Well, the largest risk to the EIS is in relation to Yuba Water Agency continuing to request additional water. If that was adopted as the preferred FERC alternative, that would really send a tailspin into the EIS and into our environmental analysis. So there's a lot of conflicting processes going on right now, and the timing of them doesn't align to have all those issues sorted out before one moves forward.
The proposal here is very precise and very vague, as I've already brought up. The final cost is I call it a WAG. We have certain items in here which spell out exactly what's going to be there. 25 hours for this, $25,000 for that. And permits will be included, fees will be included. These are all excluded. We don't know where this is going. So I have a little bit of a concern on how precise some areas are and how vague others are. I know that an EIR is almost a crapshoot as to what sort of comments you're going to get and how you're going to have to respond to those. And I see that in here, and I know that, but it was just interesting how it was written, so that some of it's very precise and some of it's not quite as precise.
And that's a valid comment. Because of the lack of clarity regarding the FERC relicensing process in general and all of these moving pieces, legal pieces of it, then it gets very, very murky. That's why this is a time and materials contract. So we only pay for what we actually use.
And you are going to be right there on top of it.
Jennifer, can I jump in?
Yeah.
So I would also offer for this proposal from HDR, there's multiple groups within the HDR that were presenting this to us. And so some of those are very well understood and very well known, and they can pinpoint and make a precise estimate. There are others that we don't know exactly how that's going to proceed at this point. So we're authorizing some funding in that area, and it gives us enough to begin the process and start the work. But as Jennifer has already said, we don't know exactly where that's going to go.
Like one big example is, so we have to do additional modeling. We have one, essentially a proposal for a pathway forward with this additional modeling. Based off of the comments we get, that may shift our pathway.
Increase cost.
I'd like to piggyback off of Earl's, and I think, or maybe the idea came to me, but it might be where you're going, and you touched on it a little bit, Peter. So I'm getting the idea that there's an opportunity for a change order in the future.
Either way. So sometimes what happens is we end up with a lot of money left over.
That would be spectacular.
Sometimes we end up with needing more money.
Okay.
Either one of those is a pathway.
And so they
I
submitted.
see all this is coming out of reserves also.
Yeah, this is just because of the large funding amount.
Yeah, I'll buy dinner if there's money left over.
Write it down.
I don't know. You might lose on that. HDR is fairly.
And that was my question. HDR in the past has been very, very responsible in
They are.
in their bids.
Relationship
Yes,
with
they do.
HDR. It's not to their benefit to nickel and dime us. They're very responsive, and sometimes there's additional costs are made by decisions we're making as we're going down the path, what fork to take, because it's so a lot of times it's less expensive to do $10,000 more work here than to pay Dustin's firm $300,000 to defend us
Right.
if we're gonna run into a problem.
And our plan for water modeling will be included in some of this?
Yes, but there's a gap that has to be bridged related to the record as well as the demand model. So we're taking the plan for water model and we're having to incorporate or extrapolate data so that's consistent with the previous modeling that was done under FERC.
All right.
It's fairly complicated, but yes, it is being used, but it's not now a standalone use.
So, okay, so not dinner, but maybe wine and cheese.
I just know to comment on that is that there is a huge decision tree as the progress moves forward with this here. If I'm reading between the lines, is that because there's quite a bit of wording here, you are going to be meeting with HDR or weekly almost on this.
We meet with them all the time. So there's the core project team is myself, Peter, Tina, who is a saint and helps shepherd all of this. Dustin and Andy provide a lot of input, and then we call in assists from Chip and Tor at certain times. But there's constant conversations because this is also much more involved than just this effort.
Yeah.
We probably meet 3 times a month, 4 times a month.
I was gonna say weekly.
And Tina has tons of meetings on the side. She's the one who shepherds and does all the tracking. All these little forks in the road, it's constant conversation.
HDR does have a outstanding reputation. I'm not faulting it there. I'm just wanting to make sure that when we're working with something like this, that we don't go past a node or a decision point and have to come back to it at a cost that we didn't anticipate. So
No, NHR is very good at, we need to make this decision. They don't make the decisions for us. We make the decisions because it's a fine balance of risk, legal risk, financial risk, and we have to kind of thread that very carefully.
How long do you think it will be, or what is the estimate for the completion of this?
1 year.
We have to
18
go
months?
fast. Mhm.
Do we have to go fast?
It's all because we're resubmitting the 401 certification at the end of this month. Just reviewed the resubmittal letter. Then the 401 cert comes out. They're going to be issuing that. They only have until, what was it, August? There's this weird overlapping going on with regulatory processes. So this won't be a super long effort.
Okay.
Also, that's a lot of times a large EIR like this would take years.
I know.
We've already been in this for years.
Right.
there's a schedule on page 9.
Well, and
Yeah,
then,
go ahead.
yeah, I saw that, but I was like wanting practical assessment.
It's real.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure it's real. Because I could see as this, if this should stretch out, then that just drives the cost up.
Well,
Oh, yeah. We're somewhat limited by all of the work required regulatory milestones that we're having to tick off right now.
Okay.
so,
Are there other questions, Brad, or?
Yeah.
No? What?
oh, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna buy the sign for the thermometer.
I'll chip in on the sign.
Help.
All right, thanks.
I'll pay for the electricity. It's gonna
No.
go bankrupt.
Oh, now, no.
Put a solar panel up on it, so it minimizes that.
Okay, so you want to I'm gonna move.
Yeah, well, let's ask for some public comment on this at this point and discussion from the public. Anyone here? No? Anyone in the virtual world here? All right, seeing none, entertain a motion, please.
So I'm gonna move to award a sole source agreement in the amount of $700,068 to HDR Engineering, Inc. for consulting services related to the FERC Yuba-Bear project relicensing CEQA environmental impact report preparation. Authorize the general manager to execute the documents, excuse me, and adopt a resolution to amend the 2026 annual budget to increase the consultant fees budget appropriation for Fund 50 by $700,068.
Very good. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Director Fowler. Please call the roll.
Division 5.
Yes.
Division 4.
Yes.
Division 3.
Aye.
Division 2.
Aye.
Division 1.
Yes. Thank you very much. Okay, the next item, 5D, is a reorganization of our board for the 2026 year and appointment of the secretary and treasurer pursuant to Water Code Sections 2130-375 and 21-376, effective January 1st, 2026. It was not, I think that was,
I mixed up too.
well, you know what? I don't even see it on the agenda.
Which,
5D.
6A is the reorganization of the board. That's what's next.
Well, that's so interesting because that is
That's the
not how this,
GPA.
yeah, that's the JPA. And then, but 5D on my agenda is the reorganization of the board.
That's what
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah, me too.
Okay,
Move forward with that.
okay, let's move forward with that since I've called the item. Okay, we will open the floor for nominations to elect a president for 2026.
So I move to nominate Chris Beerwagen for president for 2026.
And I'll second that. Are there other nominations? Seeing none, we'll close the nominations for president and we'll go ahead and vote on these one at a time.
Yes.
Where did our attorney go? Let's looking for him. He left.
Advisor.
I mean, where's the advisor?
From
There he is.
who seconded that motion?
I did.
You did.
Ricky
Thank
did.
you.
I did. There he is.
Did I leave it the wrong time?
I just was looking, I
Good.
was looking for affirmation about taking each one of these separately as opposed to including them in one motion.
We could do either.
Can
Okay.
do either, yeah.
Okay, I prefer it to do it, separately.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we have one nomination, no other nominations for president, for Director Chris Beerwagen. Do we need public comment for this? Yes. Okay. Public comment. Anyone want to talk about our selection? Looks like none. Thank you. All right. Secretary, please call the roll.
Yes. Division 5.
Yes.
Division 4.
Yes.
Division 3.
Aye.
Division 2.
Abstain.
What?
Vote for yourself, Chris.
Lisa,
Are you joking or you're abstaining?
Oh, I'm abstaining.
Okay. Division 1.
Yes.
Thank you.
We want
Thank you very much.
affirmation, positive, and
All right.
You
The
did
next-
for yourself?
Okay. The next, everyone, attention. Attention. Okay, we will take nominations for the vice president at this time.
Madam President, I'd like to nominate Brad Fowler,
Okay,
Vice President.
we have a nomination for Brad Fowler. Is there a second?
second.
Okay, motion and second. Are there any other nominations for vice president? Seeing none, is there public comment? Seeing none, all right, please call the roll.
Yes. Division 5.
yes.
Division 4.
Yes.
Division 3.
Aye.
Division 2.
Aye.
Division 1.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
I was gonna abstain until you guys gave him a hard time.
Okay, great. Congratulations to our new president and our new vice president.
Okay.
Oh, I have a question, legal counsel. So after this, are they taking over the balance of the meeting? No. Oh,
No,
okay.
You can, but you don't have to.
We don't
You,
typically.
normally you do it.
Finish it off.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay. The next item would be to appoint Chris Stepanian as board
move-
secretary.
I move to appoint Chris Stepanian as secretary.
Second.
Motion second. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Division 5.
Yes.
Division 4.
Yes.
Division 3.
Aye.
Division 2.
Aye.
Division 1.
Yes.
And all right, and I move to appoint Jennifer Hansen as treasurer.
I want to second that.
Okay.
Abstain.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to appoint Jennifer Hansen as treasurer. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Division 5.
Yes.
Division 4.
Yes.
Division 3.
Aye.
Division 2.
Aye.
Division 1.
Okay, great.
Division
Now, we
1.
will now recess out of the,
You didn't vote.
oh, yes. Oh, my God, I thought I did. Jesus. Okay,
Sorry, Jennifer.
okay. I was all excited about the recess. So we're going to recess the NID Board of Directors meeting and call to order the Nevada Irrigation District Joint Powers Authority meeting. Okay. With that, opening up the Nevada Irrigation District Joint Powers Authority, reorganization of the board, we can just approve in one fell swoop the
Yes.
2026 elected and appointed positions. Okay, do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Oh,
you abstain. I'll second.
Yeah, I move.
okay, we have a motion by Director Beerwagen, second by Director Johansson. Any comment from the public? Nope. Okay. Call the roll, please.
Division 5.
Yes.
Division 4.
Yes.
Division 3.
Aye.
Division 2.
Aye.
Division 1.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we will now adjourn the Nevada Irrigation District Joint Powers Authority meeting and reconvene the Nevada Irrigation District Board of Directors meeting. And with that, I'm going to take a moment of privilege and ask for a 10-minute recess so we can enjoy some of the goodies that Director Beerwagen personally made for us. Is that,
Well, the rest of it's like for 10 minutes. We could,
it's just a 10, come on now. It's the holidays.
I got people waiting. Oh, you're hungry, right?
Thank you. Okay, we'll bring the meeting back to order. And we're looking at item 7, workshop items. Jennifer, did you want to chat about this for a minute?
Request to pull that item to better prepare. I was unaware of some absences, so we'll bring that back first of the year, first and foremost.
Anybody have an objection to pulling the item?
7A.
Yeah,
It's just a workshop item,
right. Okay,
just not quite up to my normal quick firing self.
yes, yes. Okay. Next will be the general manager's report. Do you have enough
I don't have a whole lot.
petrol to left to give us?
I would really like some rain.
I know.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week.
Is it?
Chips on it. Yeah.
Go Chip.
Yeah, we're doing really good. We're, obviously entering into the winter slowdown, and we are all troops forward on our Tyler implementation. So staff has been working their tails off. Staff right now is in training. We've been training for the past few weeks, and it's a huge, huge, huge undertaking. And most agencies fail, but I can say with 110% confidence that we're not. And that's because of Sandra and leadership on this effort. And we should also give special shout out to Liz. She does our payroll. She has just really impressed all of us with how she's adapted to the situation and really stepped up and putting in extra effort. It's all day, every day that work is being done on that. So this will be a huge thing. It's one of those things that seems like, well, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but it really is. And the district will be using this probably for the next 20 or 30 years.
Right. It is a big deal.
Great job.
Big deal.
Yeah, they deserve all of the credit.
Great. Thank you. Is that it?
That's it.
That is it for your report. Okay. Next will be Board of Directors items on reports. Who wants to begin?
I'll go first.
Okay, Earl.
I'm irrigating mandarins right now, which is a little frustrating because Mother Nature hasn't cooperated. Chip, please.
Come on, Chip.
I hear we have rain all next week, which is good. I'm going to be picking starting this
You
afternoon.
really?
And
I was equally surprised when he said.
I know, right?
so I'm going to be picking and it'll be good.
Well,
So sorry I didn't bring you today.
we wish you well.
May the
I'm
rain.
going to segue to that.
Okay, you
That's how
segue.
you get PTSD. There's projecting that you're going to do something this afternoon until you do it. 40,
I have to.
40 years of going to bed. It's going to be clear with a north wind tomorrow and dry. Wake up, it's foggy or raining every single morning for weeks.
Just at your place.
Attitude wins.
Yeah, that's how you get PTSD.
Okay, Rich, continue.
So
Your director report. Let's bring this back to director.
that was,
I know, that was very clever.
it's like here thinking that, FERC's not coming and all of a sudden they come. Ooh. Anyway, So LATCO, there are numerous meetings going on down in Division 5 with the Rough and Ready Fire Department and Penn Valley Fire Department explaining the merger, the increased costs for each district and the benefits. And so they've had, I think, 3 of them or 2 of them so
Two
far.
so far.
Next Monday night is Lake Wildwood.
Mhm.
And so we're looking forward to that. And yeah, I guess we need more storage. Oh, also Tim Rose crew is out on the tar ditch doing a great job. Guys are putting in new weir and fixing some stuff. Well, they're good. So
Thank you. Director Beerwagon. You have a report?
Really excited about the opportunity to partner with Farm
Mhm.
in any way that we can. I think that's a great thing. The only thing I have to report is I'm going in for another pacemaker procedure on Friday. Just
really,
to improve my heart function. So,
Well, we send good
yeah, it's
heartfelt
supposed to be easy,
vibes for
easy,
you.
in and out. I'll believe that when it happens.
Okay. Okay, great. Director Fowler.
I've got a whole mess of stuff. I'm going to make up for the short one, so I apologize. I met a gentleman this summer out in the woods, up by Bowman Lake, and we ended up talking for a little while. And his daughter was an intern for NID in the, what I tell you, the 70s or the 80s or something. She was 14 years old when she was first employed as an intern up in the hydro division. And anyways, this gentleman has a really, he's very interested in the history of the district. So he's been sending me snippets about, he's taking photographs of plaques like on the Bowman Dam.
Mhm.
Send me the whole autobiography of the biography of the chief engineer that built the Bowman Dam, like the whole, and
That's
anyways,
very
it's
cool.
spectacular. But he was able to locate the document. It was,
Where do you find it?
it was a different name. He was mistaken about the name of it, and his daughter wasn't the author. She just worked on it.
Oh, okay.
And so, anyways, it's about 5 modes of transportation, and is this document that they put together for the 75th anniversary about how they traveled to get the snow survey. Anyways, it's been super interesting. And the gentleman every 2 weeks sends me a 14-page text message. I don't know how many pages it is. But it's one of those things where, and so that's our only mode of communication. And I'm scrolling, and it's fascinating. But
Can you send it?
yeah, I will. I have and he sent me links, and I don't know if we have a district historian, if this guy's really interested in, or is he just
I think you're sitting next.
he's
to
he's a
You're sitting
retired
next
guy
to
that
the
used to
district
teach high
history.
school in Colfax maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, we keep all of the historical records. Would like to see that.
So anyways, it's been a really interesting kind of
Yeah.
different relationship. I would like a broader conversation about meadow restoration. I'm trying to think of the fairest way to present this. Jennifer you can help me out. You know where I'm going. We have a differing opinion, and we'd like to discuss it further. Is that fair?
Well, you would like to discuss.
I would like to.
Well, wait a minute.
That is very fair. That's very fair.
I'll fill it in for you, Brad.
Well, hold on a second. I would just like to get more specific. So when you say a broader conversation about meadow restoration.
Yeah. So I can fill you in as much as you want. So we completed the English Meadows restoration project, and we have a provision. That's an NID provision that there won't be grazing for at least a year or maybe longer than that. And I would like to just discuss the restrictions and the prescription for no grazing. I'd like to discuss that further because I don't believe that that's a correct.
What I understand.
I'd just like to talk about it more.
Yeah, what I understand, we do not have any restrictions, but the fact is the project isn't finished.
So the English Meadows project was completed by a grant, and it was a meadow restoration that included significant ground disturbance, tree work, reseeding, wetlands, and beaver dams. For this year, staff has, which is within our authority from operational perspective, we have said there will be no cattle grazing in the meadow until such time it's reestablished. We allow cattle grazing throughout all over the district. And this
we do have cattle grazing. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought so.
situation,
Mhm.
cattle grazing in that particular area would be completed by a cattle person who has an allotment issued by the U.S. Forest Service. There has been the allotment, which is 22,000 acres, has been issued to a new cattle person for, I'm not sure if he was there last year or this upcoming year. They do other grazing like from Jackson, Milton, Bowman, those areas. Because the ground is still so newly disturbed and we are still monitoring and establishing that meadow, we have indicated that we are prohibiting grazing. And in fact, as part of the project, we dropped trees to keep the cows out. These cattle grazing in those areas, it's not like somebody's with the cows all the time. They come and visit the cows once, every
Right.
week, 2
Right.
weeks.
They're not supervised. It's not
Supervised.
Okay.
And because of the ground disturbance, we have made the determination that we don't want the work ruined. Because one my big concern, and I don't know if I shared this adequately, is if we go in and ruin that grant work, it's not likely we will get other grants from the Sierra Nevada Conservancy. We have to perform the grant. We have been very lucky to have some very significant grants for forestry work. I don't think in this particular situation there's any benefit to the district to allow cattle in there for this year. Should we revisit in future years? Yeah, as that thing gets stabilized, as grasses grow, cattle or grazing is certainly one method we would deploy to control vegetation. I do not believe it's in the district's best interest or the ratepayers' best interest to do it now. So this conversation came to a close, which is a very valid question, is how can any director override a decision that I made?
And that wasn't my desire. Well, no, I just wanted to have the conversation.
I put it in those.
Okay.
And what my recommendation to Director Fowler was to bring it up, and if the board would like to place it on the agenda, then I'm more than happy to do that. I always look at things in terms of priority. For me, this isn't a high priority for the district, but the board makes your decision. So if you'd like me to put it on an agenda, we'll prepare an item.
Well, I want to understand that what you're asking for is just a general overview of our policy or specific to English Meadow.
All of the above. All of the above. So I believe that cattle grazing can be an important benefit to any kind of a ground restoration, especially if we're talking about reestablishing native grasses and these grasslands that they evolved or they were created with grazing animals as a key component of them. And so when we remove these species, there are specific benefits of animals' hooves impacting the soil to make divots for grasslands.
Yeah.
Like there's all these benefits, and there's volumes of research that say cows are bad, and there's volumes of research that say cows are good. And I think it depends on the lens that we're looking at it through. But I think just the blanket cows are going to destroy $2 million worth of work that's done. Well, cows certainly aren't going to regrow those trees or tear down those beaver dams. I think they're an important, and just to reject the idea of grazing, I think for the 90 days that cows might be in that meadow, I think there's the benefits of having livestock on that and the continued historic use of cows were there before NID was there. I think the continued historic use of that, and I'm not tied to, I don't even know who has the allotment. I'm not interested in the allotment. I am very supportive of grazing livestock anywhere where that's possible. And I was not prepared for a more detailed explanation or discussion today, but so I just wanted to advance the conversation. And if it's a bad idea to put cows in there, then that's fine. But I'd like the board to have some input because it's very important to me.
So this is just a reminder, this is not an agendized item for.
No, and yeah, that's why I was fully unprepared for this. I was just
Point.
Can I just suggest we
Yes.
decide whether this is an item you'd like to
That's what we
agendize?
need to decide.
for
Do
future.
you want to have us prepare something and come back, or
Well, I want to know specifically if it's just grazing or if it's specific to open up this restoration area. I
Fine.
see those as two different things.
Well,
we already do grazing all
Right.
over.
We
the
allow it.
district. Yeah, we allow it.
We allow grazing, it's all over,
Time
right?
period for this particular area.
Do we need to codify, we allow grazing?
It's
and
already,
then-
it's in the state law and
It's
everything.
already allowed.
Yeah,
It's
so
already-
it's already in the
My
policy.
question is specific to this one instance, Rich.
I think, I'm not the project manager on that project,
Nor am I.
but I think I would trust the project manager saying, hey, they don't have a bias against grazing. They're in there to get the job done and complete it as to the terms of the grant. And also, I mean, that was a major restoration of a very scarred area.
Can we just but the question, we're all about to go further into it.
Sure,
Can we just discuss this at a later date I think is what we're trying to get at.
Dustin likes this, but if we need to know more about that,
I would like to.
personally,
attend
I trust, I don't see the need, but I trust the project manager saying, hey, this is what we need to do now.
I agree with you, Rich. I just think we have operational managers who know way more about this than any of us sitting up here. And that if we've gotten we spent millions of dollars restoring this, and is it a good or bad idea? That's not even for me, or I don't think any of us to decide.
Director Heck, so when we talked about real estate, your input was very valuable because you had
Yeah.
expertise.
Right.
I have expertise in this
Understood.
matter.
Understood.
So
But
this is
are you the
sharing-
project manager of
I'm
this?
Certainly not.
Have you been up to English Meadows and seen?
I
what
would
they've done?
love to. I'd go up there
I
today.
did.
Yeah, yeah, you did. Well, I just,
I
I'm
would
just
just like
Rich.
to
I don't think
agendize
we
it
need
to
to
speak it
agendize
later.
it. I don't think we need to agendize it. I think our managers are running the project, and we need to trust our managers, and we need to respect the millions of dollars of grant money that we got for this project, and just let it be. And then they'll bring grazing back. This is open to grazing once it's restored. Is that correct? Okay, that's all I need to know.
I'm
I
a
would
big
not-
fan of graze it, log it, or watch it burn.
Yeah.
I agree with both of you, but I think there's a fine line between, I think we should have the discussion on it just to make sure that we know that the project manager has full control of it, over it, or we have some input on it. And what I mean by that is I've been to English Meadows, and some of that area, I would disagree with you and say, no, it's not ready. First of all, the restoration that they're doing on it is very weak, very sensitive. There's no edible grasses for cattle in those areas. A few hooves through there is going to turn it into a erosion nightmare.
Mhm.
The lower part of that meadow, it's knee high. I was talking to the circle, correct? I was talking to one of the representatives. I says, this needs to be grazed. And they says, we agree. So they are in agreement on certain things too. This was in the lower part of the meadow. The only thing you could see through there was the trails that the bears run through, because there's a trail that the bears run through, and they take out most of the fawns in the spring. But so do we, as a board, need to refine what's allowed, what's not allowed, or should be all the project managers, or what? I mean, that could be a logical discussion.
Maybe let me frame this up, because this is really your decision point. Do you want to prioritize staff spending time putting a presentation and staff report together for a limited window of a prohibition on grazing? If the answer is yes, then we bring it back.
I say no.
Do you want staff to come back and talk about grazing in general? Because we make decisions about grazing all over the district. I know my personal recommendation would be, I don't think that would fall under the purview of a board on a site-by-site location. It'd be impossible.
I know.
It would be ridiculous.
Are we gonna do
General-
that?
If I
General
could-
policy?
Yeah.
The general policy might be good.
Well, we
I
have a
don't-
general.
Well,
policy.
I
It's
think
state
our
law.
grazing program is just fine. We utilize it and have been utilizing it for years and years. So I think that's really the decision. So
That's a really good way to frame it.
Mhm.
who's in favor of staff spending time putting a presentation and bringing this back?
I haven't said anything, but I want to chime in on the property management in general. I've already talked to Jennifer about one other item. I would be in favor of an informational workshop, or so we know what we're doing, okay? Managing all of our property, like the burn scar at Bear River and that kind of stuff. And how we're managing that.
Oh, so could that be a component? So you'd like like a general property management workshop, and the grazing could be a component of that? That's useful. I'll accept that as a
We-
friendly amendment.
I'm,
Well,
me-
I just, so
Oh,
I,
but it's just
be
about
careful.
staff time and.
yeah,
like,
and that's a
What is their
real big
bandwidth?
conversation, right?
is a
We
big
have
Yeah, that's, we
hundreds of
have,
miles
we
of
have
state.
over 10,000 acres of land.
Yeah.
7,000 acres is in the forested lands and we manage those accordingly. We can come back with a series of different tools that we use to mitigate and manage our forests with the goal of preservation of our lands and fuels management and water quality and water supply. Those are the three elements of which we manage our lands. Not for recreation necessarily, but for safety of our water supply. So we can come back and talk about 10,000 acres. We can, if you want to talk about specific parcels at a time, the river fire, we don't send cows down there. That's a strictly mechanized program. But up at different watersheds and different meadows, we have multiple meadows up in the high elevation that we're going to be working on in the next 5-10 years. This in particular, this restoration is just like any restoration. We need to give it time to rebound. And we can come in with, like you say, Brad, there's articles on land management. We can bring in cattle associations. We can bring in, professors and on one side and another on the other. But I think trying to dictate the specific activities about a particular project, a lot of that is dictated and discussed in our scope of work, in our long-term management, and our funders have certain.
So
concepts
is the
associated with
grazing
that.
a criteria of the funder?
No, grazing is not a criteria to funder. But
What's
we
the
have
phrasing of the funder is that we
we have to
the
ensure
property to support protection of
the work that we have done. We don't want it decimated. We have monitoring components of the grant that we have to do for the next 10, 15 years at English Meadow specifically. So I don't know if that helps. We're happy to bring something back if you.
I would
want.
love to continue the conversation.
It-
And I
it-
might be alone in that.
But it has a broad range. I mean, we could be here for 4 hours talking about this. So
This
we
is
need
not
a
my
little,
goal.
we need a little
I
more.
didn't try to hijack my whole comment section. I actually had other things.
You said it was gonna be long.
No, I just wanted that. I just wanted to introduce a little snippet and then it just got deeper.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a worthy conversation, but come on. It's not a high priority.
I
We're
just-
doing a good job right now.
Yeah, that's
I
what
mean,
feel.
Bear River, every land we have, we're doing a good job. Now, do we want refinement? Yeah, but let's get over some of the 401s, the FERCs, the Yuba-Bear, everything that we have right now.
Rates.
Huh?
Rates.
Water rates.
Rates.
We have things that can sink this whole operation. If we, well, I shouldn't say that too strongly. We have things that will cost this whole district massive amount of money and time and effort. Grazing is not one of them right now because we've been doing a good job.
If I could, there could be, every time we go before a grant, we have to typically get a resolution by the board to talk about the grant that we're going to go after.
Mhm.
We have to scope it out in advance and define it. If part of our long-term management of the repurposed lands would have something to do with what is our maintenance activities moving forward, and is it grazing, is it prescribed burn, is it something different? Then at the beginning of a project, upfront what we're planning to do. Would that help?
Yeah.
I think that's a way to
Perfect.
handle it. It just seems odd to come in behind once the project is whatever, three.
I think, okay, so it was surprising to me. If I got contracted to replace the playground at Hennessy High School because it was antiquated, maybe you guys remember that was a
Yeah.
big deal. Everybody had outrage. Anyways, they replaced the playground. If I replaced the playground and I was the contractor that built the new playground and then it said, hey, kids can't be on here for the next 4 years, people would think that was silly.
Well, that's not real.
That is this, the meadow is for the cows. You're right. The playground's for the kids. And in my head, these grasslands require grazing animals.
And they will get it.
It
Brad.
will get it.
As they
It's just
exist.
about
Okay, let me
timing.
carry this.
Okay.
Brad, they'll get it. It's all in timing. This battle should have been fought 20 years ago that grazing is good. And it really benefits the environment, it benefits the habitat, everything. I think East Bay, had to figure that
I
out
believe
big
that this
time. But
no is
here's the deal.
carryover from that.
Yeah, but here's the deal. This district has things that is going to cost us hundreds of millions of dollars. Grazing isn't. So it's a small, in 2 years, there'll be grazing there. So I don't see the problem. The project managers kind of know what they're doing. And grazing's good. Grazing's great, actually. Without it, a whole bunch of stuff happens. And I understand agriculture is under attack by those who don't want grazing. But that attitude's kind of changed to me. But the attitude that we have to apply and confine, adhere to FERC and Forest Service requirements that cost us tens and tens of millions of dollars, if not hundreds, that's real. And water rates, that's real. This affects every single person in the district. And 300 acres out of 10,000, shutting it down for 2 years until it gets established, it's a small price to pay. And that's where I'm at with that. We just can't afford to take the time.
I'm going to disagree with that particular statement. That I'm not proposing from my perspective is a little different than Brad's, but the same, that I'm not proposing to take away time from doing those things, that those are important, saying that we can't have a workshop.
Yeah.
It's on.
That we can have a workshop that, to talk about some of these things as a discussion item. And so that's what I'll be proposing.
It's also
Staff time.
staff time, presentation, being
Yeah.
here, boom.
There again,
We're talking weeks.
I don't see having a conversation about what we're doing is going to take that much staff time to prepare.
Well, let's-
I don't. So I'm in favor of a workshop discussion.
Let's have a vote. So you said?
Well,
Direct.
I would like Jennifer to weigh in Director Bearwagon says it doesn't look like it'll be that much time. And I think it's the
Well,
scope
we're
of,
talking about the big picture items of these projects we got going on, all that stuff, that is prioritized, and we are spending time on that. I don't see this as taking up a whole new big project we have to address and spend money on.
It's gonna take time to put it together. I'm more than happy. Why don't we just plan on doing some type of general workshop
That's my.
within the next 6 to 9 months?
Um,
It's the first quarter, the first part of the year is not gonna happen.
right.
What would be the scope of the workshop? Are we talking about 30,000 feet, 10,000 feet?
Yeah, right.
It's not on our priority list right now. It's not
No.
part of our strategic
I
priority.
was going to say,
It's on our operational priorities.
Mhm.
It can be a conversation, but if we can just make it kind of a workshop back burner.
I'm satisfied with it. In the meantime, the general manager and I have agreed that we're going to go up in the springtime, and she's going to give me a tour of the restoration project, and I'm very excited to see the work that's been done.
And Director Fowler has offered to babysit any cows that go up there.
I'll
Time they're there.
I'll shoosh them out of there if they're not supposed to be there. I will shoosh
He
them
will
out
be
of there.
camping there all summer. So
I would love to be camping there.
Right.
Is there a position available for a meadow manager?
there is there's
In the
a
grant?
paid one, and you can take my own personal trailer.
And thank you for that discussion. Thank you for the robust discussion. I appreciate that. I'm excited about the school ranch, and I was remiss in asking while they were there, like what the next steps were. But it sounds like maybe
Yeah, I propose.
he's going to get in touch with you, or how
I'll-
do we evolve that?
So essentially, I mean, to kind of lay out what it could look like, is we would have some type of agreement with them to have some type of demonstration component to their farm, whether that be we assist with constructing it or we assist with some type of funding. But remember, every single thing we do has to have a direct beneficial connection to our ratepayers. So for example, like the Master Gardeners Agreement, they are required to put on a specific number of community events related to water efficiency per year, and then they kind of report back on it. So it'd be something like that.
Oh, water efficiency workshop would be great if we could do that.
And I have
Or you could give it-
for years that there is a need in raw water use efficiency. So
Good.
I'm
Good.
extremely supportive of trying to further something, because this is one of our strategic priorities, which is water conservation,
Mhm.
water efficiency. So just give me some time to flesh out some details with him.
Well, thank you. And my final thing is like super pedestrian compared to my other exciting comments. There is no reason that 5 of us cannot sit abreast at this table. I would like, as we bring on our new chair, Mr. Chair, can you just make a thing where you sit in the middle and you have 2 on either side of you? It's silly that Director Stevens has to be in the corner.
Rich makes the corner.
I like it. I love
Rich,
it.
Rich,
I like it
Rich,
too.
This started during COVID and there wasn't just not enough room. Look at Ricky.
Look at Ricky.
Wait, what is that? I can certainly scoot to here, and there is
We used to have it like
We
that.
had-
no for as long as I can remember.
For 100
5
years it
people
was
sat
that
here.
way.
It's-
hasn't gone anywhere.
I'd really like to bring Director Stevens around to the face of this table, and that is the last of my comments. I promise.
Oh.
Thank you.
Take a secret straw poll on seating.
Well, you know, at one
Full
time,
violation of the Brown Act.
we were going to get a new desk situation that was a bit of a,
We've been waiting for that.
Oh, so we could cut a triangle out of plywood and just kick these 2 tables like that.
All right, I,
Would sit in the middle.
yeah, at
It would-
one time,
it would
that
fit.
was a real discussion.
That'd
And
be- no,
and
that would be
Rem
like-
was, remember, he was
That'd
looking
be a
for a
2-hour
used.
project. I could
Yeah.
fill that out. We'd
I-
throw
I-
tablecloth over it and nobody'd even know.
That's right.
I'd like to commend,
Advisors.
I like-
See how, you know, that.
So we can see each other.
Yeah.
I'd like to commend Ricky for the last year and
Yes.
leading us until this past 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, all right. So are your comments
I
concluded?
have concluded.
Okay.
I want to second Rich's, I want to thank our chair for her leadership the last year.
Thank you very much. Well, all right, I will do my very quick director comments. The first is, I believe, Brad, you were the person that brought the whole issue of that farm here, and thank you. That was so excellent. What they're doing, the work they're doing, the training they're doing, the whole program. I was blown away by that. And thank you for having them come. And I'm like you, I was like, they asked for support and they had an ask, but it wasn't clear to me what it was. So I'm interested in us pursuing support of them in whatever way is appropriate. So that's my first thing. And secondly, I think 3 of us went to the NCCA holiday gathering. It was well attended. And it was great because it allows us to connect with our local contractors and support them. And so that was a wonderful gathering, a couple nights ago or
This
whatever.
Friday night and the high school culinary club.
Yeah,
Find out where they're going and don't miss it.
Yeah, they had the high school culinary folks do all the food. It was amazing. It was
The kids
really
were there
wonderful.
serving. It was terrific.
Well, and they prepared, they did
Yeah.
preparation anyway, it was a wonderful event. So
Yep.
again, thank you, everybody. It's been a great year and I look forward to the next one. Thank you. All right, with that, we're adjourned.